Hi everyone, good morning. How's everything with everyone? I hope that you can hear me and you can see me okay. Just want to make sure everything is okay before I start. So I'm just gonna check my phone, but if you guys can tell me if you can see my screen and if everything is working fine. I believe it is. It seems like all is fine here. Just want to make sure I'm audible and everything is okay. Okay, cool. I received here a thumbs up, so thank you so much. Um, so, my name is Samanta Alves. I am a volunteer in the Spirit Center of Ireland. I'm Brazilian, but I'm currently living in Dublin, in Ireland. And today we are going to talk about dealing with difficulties. And this is a very challenging topic, I would say, um, because it's very easy to tell other people what to do when they are facing difficulties, or even to have like a recipe that you can follow. But when things really happen and when you experience some difficulties or a difficult moment, then is when you know, or when you feel that all those theories is really, really hard to put in practice. So we are going to try and use the Spiritism to help us with those things. But before we start, I just want to do our initial prayer. So if you want to close your eyes, to raise your thoughts to Jesus, to our spiritual friends, to our mentors, ask them for enlightenment, ask them for help, ask them to be with us this morning so we can say the right things, listen the right things, and open our hearts and our minds. Let's ask them to help us on our path when we are facing difficulties. I am sure God never abandoned us, nor the spiritual friends, nor our mentors. Sometimes we disconnect from them. So let's open our hearts and our minds and let's make this connection. And let's vibrate for the good in the world. We know that those difficulties, they are temporary and they have a reason. So let's ask for strength and wisdom so we can face them and we can go through them and be better at the other end each time we face a difficulty. So we can learn our lessons, so we can emerge from them stronger, wiser, and a better spirit as a whole. So be it. So this topic is, as I said, very challenging, and it's very challenging for me to be here talking about it because when difficulties happen in our lives, it could be anything. It could be a death of someone very dear to us, or could be a loss of a job, or could be uh, a breakup. It could be a friendship that went different ways. So it could be anything. There's no, when you're feeling it, there's no this is better than this, or it's better to lose a job than to something else happen. So this comparison, it could make some sense, but when you're feeling it, it hurts. And regardless of what it is, it really hurts. And we can't even feel pain in our body because we, um, psych, let me think about this word. I think it's psychomatis, something like this. So we basically, whatever we feel, we transmit to our physical body, and we could be having diseases, or we can be having physical pain even when things happen. So our body and our spirit and our emotions, they are very connected. So when it happens, it is difficult. And I couldn't be here saying, you won't feel this, or if you do this, it will pass, or act like this, and it will resolve the problem. And it's hard for us to advise the people, and it's hard for us as well when we are in the situation to understand everything that is happening and to have a rational approach to it. So that's when I think spiritism helps us. So spiritism will bring us some tools, some mechanisms that we can avail of that can help us through this journey when it happens. It won't solve the problem completely at the exact moment, but it will help you transition through the problem and also pass through it in a better way. This is my belief, and I brought here some tools that can help us, some spiritism ways of seeing, or ways of seeing things by spiritism or through spiritism that could help us in those moments. So first thing I would say is, and this talk is based on two books mainly, and those two books were written by Emmanuel, psychographed by Francisco Cândido Xavier. So one of them is Our Daily Bread, and the other one is Encontro Marcado. This name is in Portuguese. The book's not translated to English, but it could be translated, the title could be translated to something like Arranged Encounter. So I try to, in these books, find mechanisms, find tools that can help us in those difficult moments. And the first thing I would say is that when we try and use those tools, it can help us achieve liberation and peace when we are experiencing these difficulties or trials, and we question ourselves, what is the cause of anguish and suffering? This will help us understand better the abysm between our current condition and the truth. Because when we are facing those moments, most of the times we are not seeing things clearly because our condition, we won't let us. We are feeling things and we see things from our own perspective. So Spiritism doctrine is this universal philosophy of love and wisdom. So it has its roots in love and wisdom. And that's why I think it can really, really help us here. Now, the first thing I would say is to analyze everything that is happening in line with good, to understand and help. And when I say in line with good, is try and see what is good in the situation that is happening. So a lot of bad things is happening, but there's always something good there. And there's also the lesson that we need to learn. So trying and change our focus to those things can help us be free from this situation quicker, and can help us shift our energy as well towards the situation. So it in itself will help us um, expedite the, the suffering. So when you are in this difficult situation and you only focus on the bad things, what you're basically doing is you're throwing oil at the fire, hoping that it will extinguish the fire, but it's actually making it worse. So focusing on the good is doing the opposite, is actually throwing water in the fire so we can extinguish the fire quicker. And we need to see the good things not only when we are passing through those moments, but also if a friend is passing through those moments and they come and want to talk to you, um, and you say, this person is this person is that, or when you only see the bad, the bad that is there, and you only tell this person those bad things, you are actually you're not really helping, because your friend came to you as they would go to a doctor, asking for the doctor to help with the pain and to help with the disease. And the doctor, instead of operating you or giving you medicine or anything like that, they would be basically um, making you more sick. So pessimism and sorrow, they transform little troubles of life into great disasters of the heart. So we need to be very careful with those things. Let the pure air of positive faith in the value of service bring some fresh air to our head. And let's try and be optimistic. Then the second thing I would say is um, to try and have human contact. You would be surprised how much this could help. If you are with somebody and if you can talk to them and they can listen to you and you share that moment, that connection by itself has a huge impact in your situation. So even if you can't be with this person in person, if you call them, if you have a video call with them, this all help, because it takes you from your current condition, your mind, and so you're so immersed in what whatever is happening, that when you talk to somebody, your focus change, and that helps you, even if it's for 1 hour that you're talking about something else, or even if you're talking about it with your friend, you're seeing a different perspective. It all helps take you from that state of living that and processing that constantly, and gives you a different perspective. Um, and without even saying the importance of that love that is shared, that care. So you feel good when you know that someone cares for you, that um, they They want you to be in a different situation. They want you to feel better. So just knowing that and just seeing that is good as well for you. Then another important thing that the Spiritism will tell us is to distinguish the world to us. And what I mean by that is sometimes we think that the world is all upside down, and all those things that are happening, and you can't do anything about it, and you actually become the same. So if things are happening, um, and like bad things are happening, I want to give an example. That this example may not be um, very practical, but let's say there's a crime gang close to your home and they are acting badly, and you're seeing all those things, and sometimes you think, you know what, I can't deal with it, so I better do the same, or better join, or even if you see, for example, um, in your neighborhood, you go to a shopping, and you go to a store and you want to buy something, and someone gives you the wrong change. They give you more money than they should. The cashier give you more money than they should, and you go home and you think, oh, it was his problem. He did the count wrong, and I take the money because he should have done his job well. And you also justify your action by saying everybody does that. It's not a big deal. Everybody does that. Now, the fact that other people will do other things and the world is in this challenging and even transition, because we are now living this transition in our world, it doesn't mean that you need to be the same. There is a difference. The world is the world, and us are us. If we compare it to a convoy, for example, between the convoy and the passenger, there's singular and unmistakable difference. And we are the passengers. So whatever is happening in the world, we are not necessarily the same. So we can act differently, we can be different, and we can do different things. And it will help the world improve as a whole, and it will also help other people not just to experience difficulties as well. So going back to our example, imagine you took the money from the cashier. Not you didn't take the money, they gave it to you, but you didn't give it back. So this person at the end of the day will have to deal with the fact that there's less money in the cashier, and they will have to compensate for it a lot of times, for the employer, and that is difficult for them. So we need to understand our role in the crisis of the world and be ready to step up and step up and help, and not mix with all that is happening. And each one of us can take over the reins of the inner command. So you are the owner of your acts. And in the midst of the chaos, you have the power of taking ownership of your own actions and do things differently. Also, another thing that I found in the Spiritism doctrine is the inevitable renovations of life. So life is always renovating everywhere, and at any time we see the vitality of the universe expressing itself incessantly. So trees throw out the unnecessary leaves and pour new good ones. Seeds remembering that fragments of nature trusted to the land that fertilizes them, transferring them over time in giants of the vegetable world. In our body, it's the same. So we are constantly renovating our energies, renovating um, our physical body as well. So our nails grow, our hair grow, our cells also, some dead cells are replaced with new ones. And our experience here as human beings and being incarnated here is also a renovation. It's a new chance. It's a chance for us to learn, to improve, to become better spirits, and to do one step more in our path to perfection, because that's where we are going to get at the end. So those renovations, understanding that they happen, gives us that mindset, that overview, that sense that it will pass. It is temporary. It's a condition temporary to our learnings. And with that, we will renovate. So the same way as I said, the cells, they die, and then your body create new ones, and new cells will replace those dead ones. That's what happens in our life. So new things replaces all the things that doesn't that for some reason are not serving us anymore in some sense. So focusing on what we are losing doesn't help us see the way forward. So as the cells, if you have dead cells and there are new ones, if you focus that you're losing the dead ones, you won't benefit from having the new ones, and appreciating the new ones as well. So our life is constantly renovating. Um, and we have, in this renovation, we have our personal responsibility as well. So we need to act in a way that will help us have those renovation moments. We want to have them because we want to progress. We shouldn't want to be in a situation that is not serving us anymore, and we should want to move forward. So there's this element of our responsibility in our progress as well, and improvement of ourselves. Then another thing is the way, and what I mean by the way is what path we need to follow. So we need to be very attentive to the different possibilities that we could have, especially when we are facing difficult moments, because it can go completely wrong if you let it. So, and the way we can see it in the broader terms as well. So, what is the path that I need to follow that will be better for me and for all that I love, and that all that are surrounded me or surround me. Um, so the way is and especially in spiritism, it is the way of love. It's the way of charity. It's the way of um, helping. when someone is facing their own challenges. So you'll be surprised in the daily path to see the clash of passions causing rancor. And if we become too attached to material things, it won't really help us choose the best way. We should be the lamp that lit for those who are in blinded or who are blinded by the blindness of denial, the support of those who stumble on the road, dazzled by suffering, the good word that restores the mind of those who are traumatized by the assault of darkness, and the hope of everyone. So though these are the way of kindness, the way of love, and the way of rational faith as well. So Spiritism tells us very much about this rational faith. So trying to understand why things happen, this will also help us in our in choosing our way, but in our difficult moments as well. And this this rational faith, we can say that it's basically an education. Um, so with this, we do not want to present um, cold ears to the moments that we are going through. No, we want to open our minds, we want to open our ears, we want to learn from it, we want to try and see a different perspective. We want to talk to somebody and ask them how they see it so we can see it um, from a different perspective as well. And through all of this, we learn and we move forward. So this education is really important. And the other side of this education is also educating ourselves. And in Spiritism, we say a lot about studying Spiritism, study Spiritism. So all the books that are available to us, or even in a Spiritist center, the talks, the meetings, the courses that we can do, all of those things help because we get so much information about reincarnation, well, about um, the trivial things of our lives, basically why we are born in that family, why we are born with that condition. So all of those settings that frames um, our life, not only here on earth but as a spirit as well. So we learn about all of those things, and eventually when something bad happens, we make use of those things that we learned, and we can it can soothe the condition that we are in. We see things with different eyes than having learned all of that. So education is really important. And then the last thing is personal experiences. Um, so um, in personal experiences, we can say that it's the way we choose things to happen to us. So I'm trying to think how I'm going to explain this better. So all of those emotions and thoughts that we have, um, they they happen for a reason, and it has to do with our own our own stories. A lot of times we compare ourselves to other people and we say this doesn't happen to them, Why is everything so easy for them and not for me? Why am I'm experiencing these things? But each one of us has our own story, has our own necessities, has our own um, path to follow. It won't, it will never be the same as the person next door because they have other things to learn. We are not the same. We are unique. Each one of us has our own fingerprint, and this is unique to us. So no one has the same fingerprint as another person. So we need to remind ourselves of that. And when we have those personal experiences, we need to understand that this is what construct us. This is what identify us. This is what makes us us. And we should be proud of what we are, regardless of the state we are at the moment. None of us are perfect, and we all have our struggles. And sometimes you look at your neighbor because we used to see the garden of the other neighbor is always greener. Um, but you don't see what they face every day. You don't sleep with them. You don't know what happens in their minds, with their lives. So we judge by a very narrow referential, and we need to understand that this comparison won't help us in any way, shape, or form. So we better focus on our own personal experiences, accept the fact that we are different, and try to become better, not better than your coworker, your friend, or your neighbor, but better than you were yesterday. So that's the comparison that we need to make. I learned a little bit more today. And today I am different from what I was a year ago, 10 years ago. And that is the comparison that we need to make. Um, so those were the main things. I don't want to extend too much today. And I think that those difficult moments, they are difficult, really. They are not to be disregarded. We need to pause and think as Jesus did. Go to our desert sometimes and try to clear our minds and try to clear our spirits as well. Sometimes we need this renovation. We need to be faithful of God, and we need to focus on trying to not forgetting this connection with God. God is there 24/7 for us, and we need to have faith in Him. He will never give us a trial that we can't overtake or that we won't deserve. And when I say deserve here, I mean in the best sense of this word. It's not necessarily a punishment. Sometimes it's an opportunity. So praying and having and keeping this connection will always help us a lot. Prayer is one of the best tools that we have. It's free. It's available to us at any time, and it is really powerful. So prayer, soliciting, and intercession is surely one of the most beautiful fraternal acts. So we pray not only for ourselves, but we pray for other people as well. And it can trigger the emission of the beneficial and illuminating forces. And such forces, when originating from a sincere spirit, go straight to the proposed objective as a blessing of comfort and energy. The results do not occur as a gift, but rather as a consequence of just loss. It is difficult for us. to believe in the existence and influence of invisible thought waves, but it's those thought waves. They the same way we don't see sound, but we hear it. We can be assured that those thought waves, this energy, they exist. So and it assists not only ourselves but other people that we could be praying for. So I think that was all for me today. And let me see if there's any question or any comment. I don't see any question here. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. I just want to do our final prayer before we finish, but I just wanted to say that we have our meetings every Tuesday and Thursdays. Sorry, not meetings, talk shows, from 7:15 to 8ish, every week, and it's through our Facebook Live. We also have these talks every Sunday from 11:15 to noon, and we also have our study groups. So if you want to participate in our study groups, it's every Wednesday. Just send us a message. You can send us a message through Facebook or send us an email, and we are going to contact you and explain you how you can join us. It's done through Zoom. So just send us a message, and we can instruct you um, on how to be there on Wednesday with us. Also, every Tuesday at 8:30, if I'm not mistaken, we have our healing session, and it's broadcasted live through YouTube. So you just go to our YouTube channel and be there with us. And it's only 15 minutes. It's very quick, but this healing session is really powerful, and I'm sure it will help you a lot to be connected there with us, and will help us as well. So that was all. Have a great weekend, everyone. Let's just do our final prayer before we finish. So if you want to close your eyes, raise your thoughts to Jesus, to our spiritual friends, to our mentors, to God. Let's thank them for everything that we learned this morning, for this exchange of ideas. Let's thank them for our difficult moments as well. They help us so much. We don't want them. We never want them. Ideally, if we could not need them, it would be better. But if they happen, there is a reason for it, and we accept that. And and we ask for them, for their help always. So thank you so much, spiritual friends and our mentors and Jesus, for being with us always through those moments, through any moment actually. So be it. So again, thank you so much. Guys, have a great weekend, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.